Alright guys, today we're putting this guy up for sale. Alright guys, this is a video I didn't think I was ever going to have to make. I bought this car brand new back in 2013. Never really expected to sell it. I originally bought it, was planning to keep it forever. I didn't have any reason where I thought I would need to sell it. And it is paid off. Technically I don't have to, but since I bought my truck, this guy over here, I've been driving it on a daily basis. This car pretty much just kind of doesn't get much love. It sits in the garage, doesn't get driven hardly at all. And since I'm going to be moving away from Hawaii early next year, it doesn't make sense to have to pay to ship this back to the States. So today I'm going to start the process of putting this car up for sale. We're going to start by giving it a wash. As you can see, it's pretty dirty since I moved it out of the garage. It's been kind of getting rained on, pooped on. Got a few things to fix. You can see this little spot here on the door where someone opened their door and hit it. I've got some touch-up paint and we'll try and clean that up. There's also a little spot on the roof where I got hit by a rock and we'll touch that up as well. Another little spot here on the fender. I'm just gonna clean it up, wash it, wax it, clean out the inside, just the basic stuff. I'm no pro detailer by any means, and only have so much time to really get it ready. I mainly just need space. My street's pretty crowded and a bunch of people moved in recently, so we just need the extra space. So let's go ahead and get started. This car is super dirty, hasn't been vacuumed in a long time. So I'm going to use my trusty new rigid vacuum that I bought and get this cleaned up. So I got the back seat vacuumed out. It wasn't too dirty. It's not perfect, but I didn't really need it to be. Got pretty much all the dog hair out. Floorboards are a lot cleaner. Still got the mats up there. I got to vacuum out. So I'm going to vacuum out the other side, wipe down the interior, and I got to clean the engine bay. Alright guys, so I'm done washing the car. I pulled it to the side. I'm still going to go touch up the paint real quick. A couple little spots. Next, all we got to do is we're going to place an actual ad on the internet. I'm probably going to use Craigslist. I've never tried the Facebook marketplace. So I'm going to show you the steps of setting up an ad, everything you want to include. After all that's said and done, we'll put the ads up and we'll see what kind of response we get. Alright guys, so once your car is cleaned up, it's ready to show off, the next step you're going to do is putting up an actual ad. Now I use Craigslist, but you can use whatever you want to use. I don't have any personal experience with eBay, but I know the Facebook marketplace is popular these days as well, so use whatever platform you're familiar with. Also, if you have a place maybe in your neighborhood or
you're familiar with a big parking lot where people let you put cars for sale, it's always good to put a car out somewhere where people can just come take a look at it. Now, obviously, you want to be able to check on it, make sure nobody's messing with it. You want to make sure it's in a safe area, so just keep that sort of thing in mind. Another thing of note is if you're going to actually post your car for sale, even if it's something you're still going to be driving it around, go ahead and make a for sale sign for it. You don't have to go to a Home Depot or anything and buy a for sale sign. You can find templates online that are plenty good for what you need, and just put the basic information on it. So what you're going to want is the year, the model of the car, how many miles are on it. You want to put your asking price and your contact information. If the car's sitting in a lot, maybe you want to print up another piece of paper with, a list of modifications or anything like that. That's fine. But if you're going to still be driving it around on a daily basis, I'll just keep the for sale sign maybe in the back window or something like that, or on the bottom of your front window, just somewhere where it's not obscuring your view too much, but people can still see it as you're riding it around. Now, if you're really trying to sell a car quick, your best bet is probably to post it up online somewhere. Like I said, I chose Craigslist, but you can use whatever platform you want. The most important thing is, one, really getting good quality, high resolution pictures for people to take a look at. You don't want anything blurry, you don't want a bunch of junk in the background. Take your car somewhere where it's clean, there's not a bunch of other stuff around, the area is well lit. Take pictures of every side of the car, get it at different angles, and don't forget your interior shots, the engine bay, and the trunk as well. If you're like me and you're selling something like a Mustang, obviously people are going to want to know what's done to it. So give them a list of all the modifications you've made. If you still have any stock parts available. I like to break these things out in categories in my ad. So I started mine out by like drivetrain, interior, exterior, suspension modifications, things like that. Never forget to say why you're selling a car. A lot of the people, that'll be their first question is, why are you selling it? For me, I sold it because I bought a truck to help move my baby around. I wanted something 4 doors, something a little more bigger now that my family's expanding. If there are any problems with the car, make sure to be honest about it. Explain the problem in as best detail as you can. If you know how to fix it and it's something you can do yourself, honestly, your best bet is to go ahead and fix it. Don't tell other people it's just an easy fix if it's something you haven't been willing to do in the years that you've owned your car. And the last, most important thing you really need to remember is figuring out the price of your car. Now, you want to know 2 things. What's your asking price going to be, and what's the bottom dollar you're willing to take? To determine that, you can start by looking around at similar cars, what's for sale in your area. It might get you in the ballpark. You can look up the Blue Book value of your car. Again, if you're looking at cars like Mustangs or whatever, if there's online forums and things like that, you can also see from the other members, do they think the price or what they think is a fair price for that car. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is dealing with buyers and the types of things you really should expect when you post anything for sale online. First and foremost, be prepared for people to call you up with really lowball offers, and you're also probably going to expect a lot of phone calls from little scamming companies or companies that want to help sell your car for you or anything like that. It seems that with Craigslist especially, there are a lot of people that have, I assume, some sort of automatic script running or little bots that run looking for contact information of any ad of any type of product, and they have scripted responses that automatically reply to these ads. I got a handful of these for my car when I posted this ad, but it was nothing too crazy this time around. Again, keep an eye out for people that are asking to buy the car, but they have like weird methods of payment, or they're going to send someone else to pick it up for them. Things like that are generally something you want to shy away from. And on that point, also figure out how you want to accept payment for your car. Now, me, I've always used cashier's checks when I buy a car, and in the past, the other cars I've sold, I've accepted cashier's checks. That's honestly the safest way to do it. Now, cashier's checks can be forged, just like anything else. The benefit is you can, when you are presented with the check, you can see the bank on there. You can find the contact number for the bank itself. You can call, talk to their customer service, give them that check number, and have it verified for the amount. And when it comes to signing over your car, you're going to want to learn your state's laws on how to do that. Now in Hawaii, my car, when I paid it off, I got back an Arizona title. But Hawaii, to transfer a title, it actually has to be a Hawaii title. So prior to selling the car, putting the ad up, I went to the local DMV office and had my title transferred to a Hawaii document. Then I was actually able to sign the car over right then and there when I presented it to the buyer. And also on that title, I've got a slip for me to take in back to the DMV that shows that I transferred the title of this car. Now another thing to look out for, especially if you're selling any type of sporty car or anything like that, or maybe just a really expensive car. You might have people come by that just want to look at it. Maybe they think they can just get a quick fun test drive in. They're not really serious buyers at all. Now you kind of have to gauge that with each individual person, trying to determine how serious they really are and whether you want to let them test drive it or not. If they just show up and the first thing they want to do is just hop in the car and test drive, you haven't even talked about the car, talked about money at all, maybe you don't want to give them a test drive right away. But for me, so I have already sold this car. I actually just sold it yesterday. I'm a bit late getting to this part of the video, but I still wanted to talk about it. So the gentleman that actually ended up buying my car, he was older. He was actually into cars a lot. He told me about his history. He was actually helping his son shop for a car because his schedule is a little better than his son as far as being able to actually get out and schedule time to look and pick up the car. So because of that, I had a little more faith that he wasn't just out there trying to kick tires and just go for a joyride. It helped that he showed up in a nice 911 Porsche. So I don't think he had any issues with money if something happened to the car. But one thing to kind of set your mind at ease, if you are going to give them a test drive, if you do have a car that say is something like a Mustang or some other sporty car of some sort, maybe give them some guidelines, like, hey, if you want to get on the highway, get up to speed a little more, romp on it a little bit, that's fine, but don't go too crazy, or I'll let you know if you need to slow down a little bit, like that. Just no absurd speeding. Just figure out what you're comfortable with, have that agreement prior to taking that test drive, just so you're both happy with the experience. And the last thing is really just being prepared, saying goodbye to your baby and handing the keys over. I've had this car since the summer of 2013. It was sad that it kind of got to the point where I really wasn't being able to enjoy it as much as I wanted to. Now, I may be sad that my Mustang is gone, but I did pick up a new toy to replace it. Now guys, this is going to be my new toy for the time being. You can definitely expect a lot more videos about this bike. I'll explain my process of buying this, why I bought it, why I decided to get this as a replacement for the Mustang. This is the first motorcycle I've ever had, so I'm really excited to be able to share my ownership experiences with it. Talk about starting out riding a motorcycle on a bike like this. It's not a small bike, it's not your typical starter bike. I honestly probably wouldn't recommend it as a starter bike. I have ridden it a little bit. It can be a little bit of a handful, but I will talk more and more about that and let you guys know how it is. So as always, if that's something that sounds interesting to you, subscribe to the channel, stick around for the next video. Y'all take care.